Have you ever wondered where your thoughts come from? You might be going about your day, deeply focused, when out of nowhere, an unrelated thought pops into your mind. It could be about something as trivial as dinner plans, an old argument, or an impending event. The bigger question, though, is who's thinking these thoughts? If it's not you, then who is? This experience is universal. You might be washing dishes, driving, or simply staring out the window, and suddenly, thoughts arise without any intentional effort on your part. This phenomenon is a natural occurrence in the untrained mind, and Buddhism provides a clear explanation for it: dependent origination, Satipatthāna. In simple terms, this teaching states that everything arises due to causes and conditions, and every thought has its own trigger, even if we're not aware of it. Think about it. When was the last time you were able to predict your next thought? Try it now. Close your eyes for a moment and predict the next thought that will arise. Chances are, you weren't able to predict it, because attempting to control your thoughts changes the conditions that would have led to that thought. This simple exercise highlights a critical Buddhist concept, Anatta, or the absence of a permanent, controlling self. According to the Buddha, when he sat under the Bodhi tree and observed his mind, he saw thoughts rising and falling like ripples on water. There was no permanent thinker behind them, only thoughts coming and going. Question your thoughts. Where do they come from, and who's really thinking them? Let's explore the mystery of the mind. Subscribe and share. This phenomenon of constant mental chatter is often referred to as the monkey mind in Buddhism, restless, unpredictable, and constantly jumping from one thought to the next. Have you noticed the various types of thoughts that run through your mind? You might catch yourself planning, what's for dinner, judging, they shouldn't have done that, or worrying, what if I fail? Simply becoming aware of these patterns is a powerful first step in understanding the nature of our minds. The constant stream of thoughts, while overwhelming, reveals a crucial insight: there's no permanent, unchanging self behind these thoughts. We mistakenly identify with this stream of thoughts, assuming that the I behind them is the thinker. However, what if this I is just another thought within the stream? This insight is grounded in the Buddhist idea that everything, including thoughts, is impermanent. The Buddha often compared this to a river. Just as a river's water is never the same from one moment to the next, our thoughts are in constant flux. One thought leads to another, triggering a chain reaction. For example, a thought about work may lead to a worry about an approaching deadline, which then sparks a memory of a past mistake, fueling anxiety. This is the principle of cause and effect at work, Satipatthāna in action. Trying to stop your thoughts can be like trying to stop a river with your bare hands. It only makes the water, and the mind, more turbulent. Instead, Buddhism offers an alternative: mindfulness. Rather than forcing the mind to stop, mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment. The Satipatthāna Sutta, a key text on mindfulness meditation, encourages us to be aware of our thoughts without getting caught up in them. When we simply observe our thoughts, without trying to change them, something shifts. We begin to realize that we are not our thoughts, we are the awareness that observes them. Modern research, such as Dr. John Kabat-Zinn's work on mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, shows that mindfulness practices can reduce stress, improve focus, and even alter the structure of the brain, helping us create more space between our thoughts and reactions. Let's try a brief exercise together. For the next 10 seconds, simply observe your thoughts. Don't try to change them, just watch them as they arise and pass by, like clouds drifting in the sky. Did you notice anything? Perhaps there was a sense of stillness or space in your mind. This is the beginning of freedom, the power of bare observation. Buddhism suggests that our thoughts arise due to conditions, but these conditions don't necessarily require a permanent thinker. This challenges the deeply ingrained belief in a self controlling the flow of our thoughts. We often feel like there's a thinker behind our thoughts, someone or something steering the mental process. But Buddhism directly challenges this view with the teaching of Anatta, or no self. Imagine pausing for a moment and trying to find the thinker behind your thoughts. Where is this self located? Can you pinpoint it, or do you find that it's not there at all? This search for the thinker often reveals an absence. There is no solid, permanent self. What we discover instead is that the thinker is just another thought. This realization aligns with the Buddha's teachings on the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. All human experience is made up of these aggregates, but none of them represent a permanent, unchanging self. The story of the monk Khemaka beautifully illustrates this realization. Khemaka deeply investigated the teaching of Anatta, examining each of the 5 aggregates in his own experience. He looked at his body, feelings, thoughts, and awareness, and found no permanent self. Even the thought, "I am thinking," was just another mental formation. This insight brought Khemaka profound peace. Similarly, the story of Khema, a former queen who became a nun, exemplifies the power of realizing impermanence. After seeing a vision conjured by the Buddha, where a beautiful woman rapidly aged before her eyes, Khema was awakened to the fleeting nature of everything, including her attachment to beauty. This realization allowed her to gain wisdom and eventually become a revered Buddhist nun. The Buddha's teachings reveal that our thoughts are not controlled by a permanent self. Instead, they arise due to conditions, like seeds planted in the mind. Dependent origination applies here as well. Our thoughts are like seeds planted by past actions, intentions, and experiences. These seeds sprout when watered by present conditions. This insight brings a sense of freedom and lightness, as we realize that we don't need to cling to our thoughts or identify with them. This realization helps us reduce mental suffering and dissatisfaction by breaking free from the need to control or hold onto every thought. The practice of mindfulness, or sati, allows us to observe thoughts as they arise and pass away without identifying with them. When we see that thoughts are simply natural processes, they lose their power to control us. In conclusion, Buddhism encourages us to shift our perspective from seeing thoughts as ours to recognizing them as processes influenced by causes and conditions. There's no permanent self behind our thoughts, and mindfulness helps us observe them without getting entangled. As we develop this awareness, we create space between ourselves and our thoughts, allowing us to experience greater freedom and peace of mind. Through mindfulness, we can witness the flow of thoughts without being overwhelmed by them, gaining a sense of liberation from the constant mental chatter. Now that you know your thoughts aren't their self, practice mindfulness to free yourself from the need to control your mind and discover true inner peace. Subscribe and share.